Our task again was to find 3 consecutive integers. I should have written that down.
Yeah.
3 consecutive integers that add, that their sum is 9, that add up to equal 9. So first maybe would be dissecting these words. Like what does this mean, consecutive integers? So consecutive just means one after the next. So for example, 3 consecutive numbers would be 1, 2, 3. You know, one after the next. The other is integers. So integers are the set, they're positive and negative whole numbers. Now, we can probably rule out negative numbers in this one because negative numbers are never going to, 3 of them are never going to add up to give you a positive number. But, so then maybe we're just really thinking of positive whole numbers, so we can kind of eliminate that idea. Now this one, because they are, the sum is not so large, a guess and check method might be actually the quickest method. So I'm going to go with that first. Then I'm going to show you how to solve it algebraically as well. That would be Nathan's way.
Yeah, I think you're right. The guess and check is a lot faster in this scenario.
In this scenario. But what if we said, you know, that 3 consecutive integers are going to add up to equal 150? I would not want to do guess and check with that just because there are a lot more possibilities, I guess. Or maybe knowing where to start. So guess and check, I'm just going to start with the first 3 consecutive integers that I know. 1, 2, and 3. Add those up, and I get 6. So I know I started with something too low. I'm going to maybe try 2 plus 3 plus 4. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So there's my answer. So again, you can see how guess and check was pretty quick with this one. But again, I'm also going to show you algebraically just because it's nice to have that up your sleeve. So 2, 3, and 4 are my answers. Okay, so if I were to represent consecutive integers, so, back to the previous question. I mentioned that coming up with an equation is a lot of times your key to solving something. So that's what we're going to go for, is we're going to try to come up with an equation to solve for this. So first I'm going to define my unknowns. I know the first number, I don't know what the first number is, so we're going to call that x. This is my first integer, because I don't know what it is. Now, we could say, you know, since we don't know all 3 of them, we could say x, y, and z, but this is going to be an equation. So if I do x plus y plus z equals 9, that's really difficult to solve. That's not something that we could really definitively do. So instead of using 3 different variables, we want to try to stick to having 1 variable so that we can actually solve it. And if you know how the second unknowns are related to your first unknown, then we can stick with that 1 variable. So for example, I know that my second number, or my second integer, is going to be 1 more than my first integer. So I can call that one x plus 1, because whatever the first one is, the second one is going to be 1 more than that. So my second integer would be x plus 1. Similar idea with my third integer. Whatever that is going to be is actually going to be 2 more than my first one. Or you could also think 1 more than my second one. So we can maybe say x plus 2. So then knowing or defining all of those unknowns like that, now we can create an equation. We know that x plus 1, or our second integer, plus our third integer, x plus 2, should all add to give us 9. So then now we have an equation, we just need to solve. So let me scoot that down a little bit. So if I'm simplifying here, I have x plus x plus x. So those are 3 x's all together. And then I have 1 plus 2, which gives me 3. So all I did there was combine my like terms. Then I'm going to work on isolating x. So subtracting 3 from both sides of my equation. I get 3x is equal to 6. And then lastly, we're going to divide both sides by 3, which gives me x is 2. So back to where I defined my integers, or my unknowns, is that I said x was my first integer. So I'm going to get a different color here. So I said x was my first integer was 2. My second integer was going to be x plus 1, so 2 plus 1. So that's going to be 3. And then my third integer is x plus 2, or in other words, x was 2, so 2 plus 2. So that's going to be 4. So again, algebraically, I solved for this, and we can always go ahead and check by adding those three together and double checking that we get 9. But I found my my consecutive integers, I found them algebraically as well. 2 different ways to do it. One, guess and check, which not always the best method, but in this case, it was definitely the quickest. But then the algebraic method.
Which is more fun.
Yeah, you know, if you like to solve algebra equations, I agree. I like doing it this way, but you know, be as efficient as you want. But you've got that method now up your sleeve for if you get a similar problem like that.